Hi students, we are discussing work power energy. In today's class, I am going to introduce one more application, that is collisions. Okay, so the collisions. So far we have seen we are dealing with different physical quantities. Out of these physical quantities, when a body is in motion, some of them will be constant, like law of conservation of linear momentum. We discussed momentum is conserved in collisions, because from law of conservation of energy, when there is no external forces acting on the body system, the momentum, linear momentum is conserved. Similarly, as we have seen, law of conservation of energy, when the external force does no work, work is done by only internal forces are conservative, then mechanical energy is conserved. So during this motion, some of the physical quantities like linear momentum and energy, mechanical energy remains constant. Now we will see these practical applications, that is collisions. In collisions, this word collision we are frequently using, that is collision takes place at the center, like that. That means you treat that the two bodies are collide with each other, that is we said collision takes place when the two bodies are collide with each other, then we can say that collision takes place. In physics, this collision means the exchange of these momentums will takes place. So then we can call it as collision takes place. Here physical contact is not necessary. Okay, physical contact is not necessary in a collision. Okay, for example, when alpha particle collides with a nucleus possesses a positive charge and alpha particle possesses positive charge. When a alpha particle is projected towards the nucleus, stationary nucleus, due to Coulomb's repulsive force between the nucleus and alpha particle, it will repel with each other. So it will approach the nucleus. When alpha particle projected towards a stationary nucleus, it approaches the towards the nucleus and it will deflect, it will scatter, because the Coulomb's repulsive force exists between them. Just it will approach, physical contact there does not exist. So such collisions, such things also we can call it as collisions in physics. So here I want to say, in collisions physical contact is not necessary. So these collisions here linear momentum is conserved in all types of collisions. In collisions momentum is conserved. In a collision linear momentum is conserved. Linear momentum is conserved. Linear momentum is conserved. Okay, in a collision linear momentum is conserved. That is total momentum before collision is equal to total momentum before collision is equal to total momentum after collision. Total momentum after collision. Okay, why it will be like this? Because during collision there will be a large force acts on this. Suppose you consider total momentum before collision is equal to total momentum after collision. You let us consider two bodies having the masses m1 and m2. Okay, m1 is moving with velocity u1, it is moving with velocity u2. if u1 is greater than u2, so they collide with each other. So this is m1, m2. So during collision, the one can exert a force on 2, that is force exerted by 2 on 1. These two are equal and opposite. The force exerted on 1 by 1 on 2 is F on 2 is equal to force exerted on 1 by 2 is minus force exerted by second one on first one. So these two are this is called impulsive forces. So during collision, in a short interval of time, this first body exerts certain force on second body, which is equal to second body exert the same amount of force on the first body. According to Newton's third law, for every action there is an equal and opposite reactions. These are the impulsive forces. During this collision, what happened? After collision, they separated with each other, okay, and their velocities will changes. So let v1, v2 be the velocities after collision, okay. So v1, v2 be the velocities after collision. So during collision, what happens? They exchange their momentas. So momentums of the individual one will exchange, but total momentum will remains constant, okay. So these collisions, here we are first one. Now let us these collisions we classified into two types: elastic collisions and inelastic collisions. If momentum is conserved in all type of collisions, during collisions what happens? When the first one hits the second one, there will be some loss of energy. You may get sound, you may get some heat energy during collisions. So a part of the energy, kinetic energy, will be lost. It will reappears in the form of sound or light or heat during collisions. So based on that these collisions, but in some collisions this body will compresses the first body will compresses the second body. That means some of its energies, kinetic energy, is converted into potential energy. So again they are compressed together during collision. So at the point of collision they compress together. That means deformation takes place, okay, and again their releases. That means they get after a deformation, they releases they will get the original size and shape of the bodies due to elastic properties of the bodies. So again the potential energy decreases. So a part of the energy is converted into during the compression potential energy, and it is releases again, it will gets the original shape by releasing the potential energy into kinetic energy. So before collision and after collision, the kinetic energy is also conserved. Such a type of collisions we can call it as perfectly elastic collisions. So these collisions are two types. So if kinetic energy is also conserved, if kinetic energy is also conserved during collision, during a collision, then it is called, if kinetic energy also, that means along with the momentum, then it is called perfectly elastic collision or elastic collision. If kinetic energy is not conserved, kinetic energy is not conserved, That means only momentum conserved. Only momentum conserved. If kinetic energy is not conserved, then it is called perfectly inelastic collision. Perfectly inelastic collision. So these collisions are two types: perfectly elastic collision, perfectly inelastic collision. Perfectly elastic collision is a collision in which both momentum and kinetic energy are conserved. Both momentum and kinetic energy are conserved. Okay, such a collision is elastic collision. If only momentum is conserved, kinetic energy is not conserved, then it is called perfectly inelastic collision. We will see one by one. In today's class, I will explain this perfectly elastic collision. Okay. Now, here momentum is conserved. Okay. So kinetic energy is also conserved. Now let us consider a one-dimensional collisions. So these collisions are two types again: one-dimensional collision and two-dimensional collisions. If the velocities of the colliding bodies before and after collisions takes place in one direction, then lie in a straight line, then it is called one-dimensional collision. If they lie in a plane, that means they are not lie in a straight line, then we can call it as two-dimensional collision. Now we are discussing, first I will discuss one-dimensional collision. Okay. So I will discuss one-dimensional elastic collision. So one-dimensional elastic collision. What is one-dimensional collision? If velocities of the colliding bodies before and after collision, if velocities of the colliding bodies lies in a straight line, okay. If velocities of the colliding bodies lies in a straight line, then it is called one-dimensional collision, one-dimensional or head-on collision. Now I will consider one-dimensional elastic collision. So we know that you consider two bodies, okay, of masses m1 and m2 moving with initial velocities u1 and u2. So these are the velocities before collision. So this is during collision. This is after collision. So during these collisions, momentum will exchanges. So total momentum before collision is equal to total momentum after collision, from law of conservation of linear momentum, because in one-dimensional collision linear momentum is conserved. Okay. So what is the total momentum before collision? So total momentum before collision is equal to total momentum after collision. I will write this statement once again. So what is the total momentum? m1, what is the momentum of this one? m1 u1, first one. What is the momentum of the second one? m2 u2. So before collision is total is plus. It should be equal to total momentum after collision. So what is the momentum of the first one after collision? m1 v1 plus what is the momentum of the second one? m2 v2. So what is u1 u2 here? u1 u2 are velocities before collision, velocities just before collision. What is v1 v2? Velocities just after collision. Okay. m1 m2 are the masses of the two bodies. So momentum is conserved. Let it be, I will take m1 u1 minus v1 is equal to m2. I will write it as v2 minus u2. You call it as equation 1. If in elastic collision, we are discussing elastic collisions, momentum is also, kinetic energy is also conserved. So kinetic energy is also conserved. Kinetic energy is also conserved. Since kinetic energy is also conserved, what does it mean? Total kinetic energy before collision is equal to total kinetic energy after collision. So that means total kinetic energy, total Ke before collision is equal to total kinetic energy after collision. Okay. So what is kinetic energy of this one before collision? Half m1 u1 square. What is the kinetic energy of the second one? Half m2 u2 square. What is the total before plus? It should be equal to total kinetic energy after collision. What is the kinetic energy of this one after collision? Half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square. Okay. So this is from law of conservation of kinetic energy. So from these equations, you write m1, you take it as common, u1 square minus v1 square, half you will get cancelled. Okay. So bring this v1 square that side, you will get m1 u1 square minus v1 square, m2 you will get v2 square minus u2 square. I bring this one this side, this one that side. So I got this equation 2. So from law of conservation of linear momentum, I got first equation. From law of kinetic energy, energy conservation, kinetic energy, I got this second equation. So from equations, you divide equations 1 and 2. So what you will get? Okay, I will write here. So I will write here. Okay, divide these two. So what you will get? Divide equation 2 with 1. Equation 2 by 1. Two by 1. Equation, divide equation 2 by 1 with 1. With 1. Equation 1. So what you will get? So m1 get cancelled. u1 square minus, I will write here, m1 u1 square minus v1 square is equal to m2 v2 square minus u2 square, that is equation 2, by equation 1 m1 u1 minus v1 divided by m2 v2 minus u2. So here m1 get cancelled, m2 get cancelled, a square minus b square. A square minus b square can be written as a minus b into a plus b, a minus b into a plus b, a plus b by u1 minus v1 is equal to, similarly a square minus b square can be written as v2 minus u2 into v2 plus u2 by u1 v2 by u2. So these two get cancelled. So what you will get finally, I will write here. Okay. So I will write here after this. Okay. So I will write here. So u1 plus v1 is equal to v2 plus u2. Okay, I got this. I will write u1 minus u2 is equal to v2 minus v1. What is this? Relative velocities of approach. u1 minus u2 is equal to v2 minus v1. That is relative velocities of approach before collision, relative velocities of approach before collision is equal to relative velocities of separation after collision. So this is, we got this result. This is very important result. I will underline this. What is this? Relative velocities of approach before collision is equal to relative velocities of separation after collision. So in the one dimensional collision we have this u1 minus u2 is equal to v2 minus v1. Okay, so we get the velocities. Now this equation, now I want velocities after collision. So you substitute these values in equation 1. Okay, so this is the equation 1. Okay, this is equation 1. This is equation 1. Now I want velocities of the colliding bodies after collision. So okay, so up to here what I proved here, in one dimensional elastic collision, relative velocities of approach before collision equal to relative velocities of separation after collision. This is very important equation. I call it as equation 3. 3 is stop. Important equation. You remember that one. Okay. Now I want velocities after collision. So before collision you know the velocities. I want velocities after collision. So how do you get? So from this equation you eliminate v2 and substitute that value, v2 value, in this equation. You will get v1. So from equation I will write here from equation 3 we have what we have. V2 is equal to V1, you bring this one this side, U1 plus U1 minus U2. Substitute V2 value in equation 1 and we get V1. So V1 is equal to what is V1? You will get, after simplifying, you will get M1 minus M2 by M1 plus M2 of U1 plus 2M2 U2 by M1 plus M2. Okay, you will get this expression. Okay, so this is, you will get V1. You simplify, you will get substitute this V2 value here, simplify, rearrange, and you find V1 in terms of U1 and U2. So this is memory box. This is the velocity of the first one after collision. Similarly, I will write here next step. So similarly, from equation 3 we have V1. What is V1? V1 is equal to from this equation V2 minus U1 plus U2. Okay, substitute V1 value in equation 1 we get, so we get what? Similarly we get V2. So we get V2. So V2 similarly will get M2 minus M1 by M1 plus M2 of U2 plus 2M1 by M1 plus M2 of U1. Okay, you will get this. So you call it as equation 2, memory box. Clear? You write up to here. So what is the determination of V1 and V2? So this is the first step, this is the second step. So I got velocities of the colliding bodies after collision. Once you know the velocities before collision, we can calculate velocities after collision. Okay. So there are some special cases. I will discuss some special cases. So some special cases. What is the some special cases? If masses of the colliding bodies are equal, if masses of the colliding bodies are equal, masses of the colliding bodies are equal, let us see what happens. If M1 is equal to M2, okay, so then what is V1? V1 is M1 minus M2. I will write again M1 m1 plus m1 of u1 plus 2m2, that is m1 plus m1 of u2. Okay. So what you will get, this v1, this will becomes 0. Okay, because these two get cancelled, you will get 0. 0 by something 0, 0 into u1, 0. So you will get this one, m1 get cancelled, you will get 2m1 get cancelled. So v1 becomes you will get v2. Okay, v1 is equal to v2, and v2, I will write here. Okay, so I got v1 is equal to u2, and v2 is equal to, what is v2? v2 will be here, m1 minus m2, m1 plus m2. I will substitute, instead of m1 is equal to m2, u2 plus 2m1 by m1 plus m1 of u1. So this term becomes 0, v2, this term becomes u1, because these two get cancelled. m1 plus m1 becomes 2m1, 2m1 get cancelled. So you will get v2 is equal to u2. That means, so the velocities of the colliding bodies exchange together. What does it mean? v1 is equal to u2, v2 is equal to u1. What does it mean? That is, v1 is velocities of the first one after collision is equal to initial velocity of the second one before collision. What is v2? Velocity of the second body after collision is equal to initial velocity of the first body before collision. That means they exchange their velocities. If masses of the colliding bodies are equal, they exchange their velocities. Exchange their velocities. Okay. So if what we can conclude, if masses of the colliding bodies are equal, we can say that they exchange their velocities. That means first one will get the velocity of second one will get the velocity of first one. Okay, clear? Take this example. Suppose find the velocities of 1, 2, 3 after collision. All are identical masses. All are identical masses. So the first one, let us see. First sphere having the mass m1 moving with velocity v. There are two more spheres, let it be. Okay, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Masses are identical. Okay, m. So the first one is moving with the velocity on the ground. So I assumed that all these are on the smooth ground, no friction here. So here assumption is no friction. So this is 2 and 3 having the masses m1 and m2. They are at rest, so its velocity is 0. Initial velocity is 0, u3 is also 0 before collision. This is before collision. Okay, the first one will hits the second one. Now find example, find the velocities of 1, 2, 3 after collision. So what happens? Velocities after collision. Velocities after collision. After collision. So they exchange with each other. That means the first one is having the velocity v before collision. Second one is at rest. So second one will acquires the velocity of first one, that is v. First one will acquires the second one velocity, that is it will comes to rest. So velocities after collision are m1, that is velocities after collisions are for m1 v1 is equal to 0. Okay, for m2 mass is same, mass for second one I will write here, for second one v2 is after collision it acquires the velocity v and it again hits this one, so it acquires rest and it acquires the velocity of this, so they exchange. What happens here? Velocities will exchange. So third one after collision it acquires the velocity v, so they exchange their velocities. So first one will comes to rest. So after collision the diagram will be like this. First one rest, second one will rest, v3 0, v2 0, and the third one having the mass m moving with the velocity v. So this is 1, 2, 3. Third one moving with velocity v. Okay, second one and third one they comes to rest. Second one and third one after collision they will comes to rest. That means their velocities becomes 0. Third one will acquires the velocity v. That means it acquires the velocity of second one. Second one will acquires the velocity of first one. Like this, they exchange their velocities after collision. Clear this example? Next. Suppose here masses, one more is if heavier particle, a heavier body hits the lighter one, lighter one at rest. So heavier means m1 is very much greater than m2. m1 is heavier, I assumed. Second one is m2 is lighter, that is m1 is very much greater than m2, and u2 is 0. So I take this assumption. This is case 2. What is case 2? A heavier body hits the lighter body, lighter one at rest. Okay, what happens? See, m1 is very much greater than, then I want v1 and v2. So what is v1? v1 is m1 minus m2 by m1 plus m2 of u1 plus 2m2 by m1 plus m2 of u2. Okay, so m1 put, so v2, what is v2? m1 minus m2 by m1 plus m2 of u2 plus 2m1 by m1 plus m2 of u1. So we have this put సార్ క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను సార్. ఓకే, సో in v1 v2 put m2 is equal to 0 because it is lighter one, nearly equal to 0, lighter one. So I put m2 is equal to 0. m1 by m2, m1 get cancel, so I will get m1 m2 I put 0, so you will get m1 m get cancel, you will get v1, and here m1 is u2 0, so here u2 is 0, so I substitute u2 is 0, so what you will get here, then v1 is equal to u1 is what is u1 here, m2 put 0, what you will get, m1 get cancel, you will get u1. That means velocity of the first body will continue with the same velocity, no change. That means no change in its velocity after collision. Now v2 is equal to velocity of second one is, this will factor becomes 0, isn't it, because u2 is 0 and this one is m2 put 0, so m1 you will get 2m1 m2 0, so m1 get cancelled, you will get 2u1, so you will get this is the answers. That means, so if they collide with each other, velocity of second one becomes double the initial velocity of the first one. Okay, okay, so velocity of second one is twice the initial velocity of first one. So if lighter body hits the lighter one, heavier body hits the lighter one, what happens? Velocity of the first body will remains the same, velocity of the second body becomes twice the initial velocity of the first one. Clear? Second, so case 3 is m2, a lighter body hits the heavier body at rest. Okay, so that is m1 is very much less than m2 and u2 is equal to 0. So if you substitute these values, we get v1 is equal to, substitute these values, so put m2 is equal to 0 and u2 is also 0 in the above equations we get. Similarly, this is equations 1 and 2. Okay, so substitute, put m1 is equal to 0 and u2 is equal to 0 in equations 1, 2. we get. So what we get? V1 is equal to, now put M1 is equal to 0 here. M2, you will get minus M1. So V1 is equal to minus U1, first equation, because U2 becomes 0. Now we get V2. What is V2? Put M1 is equal to 0 here. 0, M2 get cancelled. So you will get V2. V2 is equal to U2, but U2 is 0. Okay, leave this term. So here you will get M1 0, so you will get 0. So V2 will be 0. That means heavier will be rest. See, let us see this one. A lighter body hits the smaller one. So it is quite natural. Suppose there is a wall, small example. This is a wall, vertical wall. Wall is a heavier one, a ball. So a ball is a lighter one. This is a ball, is a lighter one. Lighter. It hits the ball. So velocity of the ball before and after collision is 0. It won't change. Ball will remain at rest. But the ball, after hitting the ball, it bounces back. It bounces back with the same velocity. This minus means it is moving with the same velocity but opposite in direction. If you hit a ball, you throw a ball towards the wall, what happens? The ball bounces with the same velocity. That is, here ball is a lighter one when compared with the wall. Wall is a heavier one. Before and after collision, there is no change in the velocities of the wall. But ball reverses its direction with the same speed. Minus means here velocity opposite in direction. Speed magnitude remains the same, but velocity of the magnitude remains the same, but direction changes opposite. Clear? So this is the third example. Okay, these are the few special cases. Okay, so you take these examples.